since you're bringing up the life of Jesus, I mean, we can split this cleanly into that. This is the conflict between Jesus and the concepts. This is the conflict between Jesus and the concepts of the Pharisees. Because what are they always bickering about?
They're always coming from the scriptures, right?
The Pharisees
they're always quoting scripture.
are coming from the scriptures, and they say, this woman was caught in adultery.
Boom.
Stone her.
Stone her.
That's what the law says.
Hey, I didn't write it.
That's my lamp.
That's the law.
That's my religious teachings. And Jesus, who is saying, I'm here to fulfill that same law, he says, basically, hey, cut her some slack. You know, she's trying her best, and then they all leave because they're convicted that, oh yeah, none of us are that perfect. And then he says, just try not to do it again. Go and sin no more. And
she's been humiliated, dragged out in front of everybody, and they're all threatening her with stones and everything. Yeah, it's not a good day.
So the same religious concept, Jesus is not denying that that's in there, but he's saying the point of it is love. And I think it's even more starkly illustrated in the Sabbath when they say, are you allowed to heal this person on the Sabbath? That's the Pharisees.
You're not supposed to do any work.
Here's the rule. We know this person needs help, but here's the rule. And whereas Jesus says, was the Sabbath made for the man or the man made for Sabbath? Like, what's this all for? Is the lamp is the oil made for the lamp or the lamp made for the oil? So
this is great, having this be the Pharisees, because Jesus says to the Pharisees, you're hypocrites. If your animal falls in the hole on the Sabbath, you're totally out there sweating and dragging it out of the hole. I mean, you're not going to leave it till the next day. And here I am trying to rescue somebody from a situation that their body doesn't work, they're epileptic, whatever it is. I'm rescuing them. It's not against the law to do good on the Sabbath.
There's so many more. I'm trying to remember. There's the woman who's washing his feet, and they're saying, she's bad, you can't do that. And he's saying,
if you knew what kind of woman that is, you wouldn't even let her anywhere near you. You could not be a real teacher.
And he's saying, look, she's being good right now. You guys are not being good right now.
Yeah, you were sort of lukewarm when I came in here. you gave me no kiss, and you said, oh, I can take it or leave it. So Jesus is in my house. And she's going, I owe you everything. Yeah.
So I get that. But even if, let's say, like the sort of Pharisaically minded people, they got it wrong. Like, it's not supposed to be about the rules and the structure and being motivated by the same human ego stuff that we were before, but now it's just got a religious scaffold to put it on. It's actually, you're meant to be looking for love, and that's your compass through which you sail the seas of these religious teachings. I got all that. Still, though, can't God just open the door and let them in? Why is it that they got it wrong, sure, but why is it that the prudent can come into the wedding and the foolish or the stupid cannot? And that is because the being let in is not being let in just like doors open, if you got 2 feet, come in, and now you're in this thing. The being let in, we talked about, that is going into heaven, which heaven is a state of union with God. And God is like mega oil. Like, all he cares about is love for everyone, kindness toward everyone, doesn't want to be greater than anyone, doesn't want to be wrapped up in punitive or negative stuff, wants to serve all.
Yeah.
If you despise that and detest that and find it boring and find it pointless, and that's just not the taste you cultivated in life, what do you have in common with the Lord? Where, sure, Lord's still going to be there and like hanging out with you and trying to make your life good, but you can't, like, where's the wedding? There's no compatibility there.
And I love this. We've been talking about the Pharisees in connection with that lamp. It's so interesting that Jesus came into the world. He is just a beacon of light. And what I mean is that all these people who are suffering are just drawn to him. Crowds form around him day or night. They're seeking something. I need healing. This is somebody who can heal people. This is somebody who really has something to offer to change your life. And the Pharisees do nothing but snipe at it. You know, they seem jealous that he's got a power that they don't have. They were supposed to be the big religious one. So they're just going to do a territory thing. Like, who gave you the authority to speak in the temple? You know, all they can do is kind of snipe from the sidelines. You know, they're not with the program. And Jesus says at one point, look, John the Baptist came and a lot of people followed his teaching and came in. You didn't, I notice. And then even when you saw people's lives changed, Jesus said, I'm paraphrasing wildly, you still didn't get on board. You know, like even when you saw this is working for people, maybe there's something, I get that you were negative to begin with. Yeah, sure, lots of people are going to be that way. But even when you saw lives being changed, you stayed on the course because it seemed to be, well, it's about my power. I have authority in this. And here you're wrecking my thing. You, Jesus, you're coming in here and oh, everybody loves Jesus. Oh yeah, everybody's gone out after Jesus.
It's religion for religion's sake.
Yeah.
Because as you just put, the Pharisees, their interest is in preserving the system, which could be on a large scale, it's religious systems. You know, in an individual, that would be certain belief systems that just exist to perpetuate themselves, a useless lamp with no oil in it. Whereas it doesn't solve any problems. Whereas Jesus comes in and people who are blind or people who are paralyzed or people who have a demon in them are being fixed. Like, oh, he solved the problem. What he's doing actually does way more than, you know, coming into the temple and hearing you. He's really solving the hard root problems in life. But you're not into that because you just care about like, wait, I like this system for what it does for me. I don't know. That seems really like a potent symbol.
I love the healing of the blind man. You talked about the blind there, and it's so great that there's like a full federal investigation of how this happened. You know, is this really the guy? Well, let's try to establish whether, you know, and then they keep asking him. And the guy finally has to say, I don't know. All I know is I used to be blind and now I can see. That's all I know. You know?
So you'll hear like people speculating, and like, oh yeah, there's a way to do thing X that would be much cheaper and would help a lot of people afford it, but the lobby from that industry is saying, you're not allowed to do that because then it'll destroy our profits. Yeah, right. Even though it would help the people more.
Yeah, right.
That's same sort of vibe.
Same sort of vibe.
It's like
that's right.
Then everybody knows like that's silly. Like if you're doing something in an inefficient, ineffective way, but it lines your pockets, that's obviously not what the industry you're in is for.
It's so interesting that the God in the Bible is willing to take the blame. Like in so many of these stories, it looks like the bridegroom is being kind of standoffish or you know, the angry God of the Old Testament, this kind of thing, willing to take the blame. But the fact is, when you really look at what the marriage is and why they're not getting in, it's totally on us. You know, we ourselves made choices that alienated God. God was longing to have that connection, and we're the ones who turned away. That's so often what it actually, when you dig into the story, it's really about. It's about us, our failures, not God's failure.
This is a clip that I think gets really well at the heart of what's the point of religion. You have to have that square, or else the trappings get in the way. Here we go.
Somebody is on the road, you're not ready to help him, and you tell your spiritualism and get lost. You say you have been to this temple, that temple, but you don't even help people who are suffering in front of you. So why are you doing this mockery, this drama? Don't tell me how many places with pilgrimages you have visited. My question is how many people you have helped so far, genuinely. Wow. If you not help people, you can't claim, huh? The best way to reach God is also through people only, through a heart. You help someone, you don't have to go to pilgrimage, covering 1,000 kilometers. You take 10 steps, cross the road, help someone. I mean, whatever best capacity you can. That is the best way. Spiritualism is not in books. Gratitude is not in books, it is in action.
I just think I like the way he's like, hey, don't tell me how far you walked and what pilgrimage. It's like, don't confuse the lamp with the oil.
That's it.
Look, if you don't have a lamp, like we almost didn't right there, you can't just pour the oil in a puddle. But don't confuse it. That stuff is in service of. So you can go on a pilgrimage, and if that deepens your spirituality and your conviction, go for it. But you can't say, I'm so religious now because I've traveled this many thousand kilometers to get there. That's just the lamp. You're not burning oil yet. The oil is the help.
That's really great. I love that. Just 10 steps across the road to actually help somebody is far more meaningful than the fact that you suffered physically and traveled a tremendously long way to fulfill this pilgrimage obligation. You know, it's a classic kind of religious misunderstanding and seems a little bit. Swedenborg talks about people who go to the other world and they want to brag about their, you know, like I'm so religious, I'm so amazing, and you know, it's not about showing off. It's actually like those things where you help somebody and they don't know it was you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a pleasure to you?
Yeah. The wrinkle that Swedenborg adds is that your character stays with you into the afterlife. It says in this parable, you don't know the day or the hour, means you don't know what state you're in when your life ends. So if you spend your whole life cultivating this state of like, I care about the making sure I check the boxes, and I don't care about, it's not actually in the function of helping people, you haven't built anything that can unite with the Lord. It's like if you're a professional athlete and you do a bunch of training and then you have the games. And if you think like, well, who cares that we keep losing the games? I'm killing it in training. Like my times keep going up. I keep lifting more weights. It's awesome. But then we haven't won a single game. That's not what it's about. It doesn't matter what your training is if it's not translating into winning games. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how much religious or spiritual stuff you know or what rituals you do or practices. If that's not translating into you are living a life of love and wanting to be useful and shunning evils as sins, it's not doing anything. If it is, if you are winning games, then the training is really important, and you probably wouldn't win those games without the training, but one serves the other.
And I think that shocking moment in the story where the door is shut, you know, too late, you didn't get in, is really divine compassion saying in the story, this matter, this has a lasting effect. And figure this out. So even though it's in a parable, I think it's trying to cry out and say, hey, this matters. And by the time you get to the end of chapter 25, if you're confused by the beginning of it, by the end you get to all that beautiful stuff about, well, I'm just talking about just help get outside yourself a little bit, help somebody who's not doing well.
That's if I was hungry and you gave me food.
Yeah.
I was thirsty and you gave me drink.
Right. You just keep reading. You'll get something clearer about what it is, where do you get oil?
And God doesn't shut the door between you and him. There's that famous passage, behold, I stand at the door and knock. But he
doesn't even have a doorknob.
He doesn't have a knob.
Yeah, right.
And he says, if anyone opens up, if you're knocking, that means that's the best you can do when you're out there to try to get in.
Yeah.
If anyone opens the door, I'll come in. So
anybody.
The door closing in this, it's got to not be that God is shutting the door. You living without, where you don't care about love, is shutting the door. Not all doors. You can still have a life, but it's shutting the door that would allow this conjunction with God. So that's why we got to be, especially with religious stuff. Yep, get your lamp. Make sure it's good and molded right. It does have to have a certain structure to it. It's got to have that hole there. You need a handle for that. But fill it up. The thing is for not just even the oil, but the production of light that comes from that.
And when the parable says, I don't know you, Jesus also says that a few times about, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, or phrases like that, because he's talking about the fact that